So, let's talk about one of the most interesting new tools to come out of Google Labs, NotebookLM. Is this thing the revolutionary AI assistant we've all been waiting for? The tool that's going to change how we do research forever? Or is it just another cool idea that's destined for the infamous Google graveyard? Let's dive in and figure it out. Oh, you know the feeling. We've all been there, right? You're deep into a project, you're trying to connect the dots, and your computer screen just looks like an absolute explosion of information. You got stuff on your desktop, a million browser tabs open, notes scattered everywhere. It is the definition of chaos, and it's exactly the problem Google is trying to solve here.
So what even is NotebookLM? Well, the easiest way to think about it is like having your own personal AI librarian, but here's the catch. Instead of knowing about the entire library, this librarian is an expert on one thing, and one thing only, whatever documents you decide to give it.
Now, pay close attention to that part in all caps, only on the documents you provide. This is the secret sauce. See, unlike a lot of other AIs that are pulling information from the entire vast internet, NotebookLM is what they call source-grounded. It means every answer it gives you is tied directly to your material. It can even give you citations pointing you to the exact sentence in your original document. So no weird AI hallucinations, just pure insight from your content.
And this quote from Stephen Johnson, who's a pretty well-known science author and part of the NotebookLM team, just hits the nail on the head. The point isn't to replace your brain. It's a tool designed to help you dig deeper, to see the connections you might have missed inside your own stuff.
And this thing has been moving at lightning speed. It actually started back in 2023 as something called Project Tailwind. But as you can see, Google has been pouring resources into it. They dropped the experimental label, they launched a paid version for businesses, and they're always adding wild new features. That signals they're pretty serious about this, at least for now.
All right, so how do you actually use this thing? Well, the whole process is honestly refreshingly simple. It really just boils down to a few key steps.
It's honestly as easy as 1, 2, 3. First, you make a notebook for whatever project you're working on, and you just start feeding it your sources. PDFs, Google Docs, you can copy-paste from websites, whatever you've got. Step 2, you just start talking to it. Ask it questions in plain English like, give me a summary or what are the main arguments here? And finally, bam, it gives you those source-grounded insights complete with citations. And don't let the simplicity fool you. This thing is powerful. A single notebook can handle up to 25 million words. That's massive. It can automatically cook up things like study guides or timelines for you. And get this, there's a feature called Audio Overview that literally turns your documents into a podcast-style conversation between two AIs. How cool is that? And maybe most importantly for a lot of us, Google is very clear. Your private data is never, ever used to train their models.
Okay, so it's great for research papers, but that's just scratching the surface. The advanced and creative ways people are using this, that's where it gets really fascinating.
I mean, think about it. We're seeing writers upload all their notes for a novel, character sketches, plot ideas, location descriptions. And then they can just ask it questions like, hey, remind me, what color are my main character's eyes? Or even ask for creative ideas. It's like a perfect memory for the entire complex world they're trying to build. And if you want to see just how far this can go, check this out. This wild-looking diagram is from a real academic paper. Researchers have built a system that takes those AI-generated podcasts I mentioned, processes them, and turns them into full-blown virtual reality learning experiences with animated avatars. It's an insane glimpse into a future where AI helps us create entirely new ways to learn.
Okay, so this all sounds amazing, right? But it brings us to the big showdown, the great debate for anyone who's serious about their notes and knowledge. How does this new, shiny, cloud-based tool from Google stack up against the reigning champion of local, customizable note-taking, Obsidian?
And really, it all boils down to this one single question. It's a fundamental trade-off that defines two completely different ways of thinking. Do you want the dead simple convenience of the cloud, or do you want the absolute ironclad control of having your data stored locally?
And look, this is probably the single biggest deal breaker for a lot of people. With NotebookLM, your work lives on Google's servers, period. With Obsidian, your notes are just plain text files sitting in a folder on your own computer. If the company behind Obsidian vanished tomorrow, you'd still have every single one of your notes, perfectly readable, forever. You just can't say that about a cloud service.
Now, when it comes to AI, the two are just worlds apart. For NotebookLM, AI is its entire reason for being. It's built in, ready to go, no setup required. In Obsidian, AI is an add-on. Yeah, you can get some incredibly powerful AI features using community plugins, but you got to set it all up yourself.
It's really the difference between buying a pre-built race car and getting a box of high-performance parts with an instruction manual.
And this quote from a user over on the Obsidian subreddit, it just perfectly captures the big elephant in the room. Google has a very, very long history of shutting down beloved products, and a lot of people just aren't willing to risk building their personal knowledge base on something that might not be around in a few years. It's a huge factor in this whole debate. So, with all that in mind, how in the world are you supposed to choose? Which one is actually right for you? Well, let's break it down with a simple framework.
This table really lays it all out, nice and simple. Look at the primary use. NotebookLM is for specific project-based research. Obsidian is for building a long-term knowledge base. One is in the cloud, one is on your local files. The learning curve for NotebookLM is super low. You can get started in minutes. Obsidian, well, it takes some time to really master. It's a trade-off all the way down.
So let's make it real simple. You should choose NotebookLM if you're a student drowning in a dozen PDFs for a term paper, or you're a professional who needs to write a report based on a very specific set of documents. You want fast, AI-powered answers for one task, and you want it to work right now with zero fuss. On the flip side, you should choose Obsidian if you're more of a gardener of ideas. You're building an interconnected web of knowledge that you want to last for years, maybe decades. You value owning your data above all else, you love to tinker and customize your setup, and you want a system that is yours and yours alone.
So what's the verdict? Which one wins? Well, here's the interesting part. What if the best answer isn't choosing one over the other? A lot of the smartest users are finding a way to get the best of both worlds.
And this is the super smart, hybrid approach that so many people are landing on. They use NotebookLM as a temporary, supercharged workbench. They throw all their project files into it, they get summaries, they ask it questions, they get what they need, and then, once the project is over, they take the most important insights and move them into Obsidian, their permanent, forever home. It's about using the right tool for the right job. NotebookLM for the sprint, Obsidian for the marathon. And that really leaves us with one final, pretty deep question to chew on. As these amazing tools like NotebookLM get better and better at finding connections and summarizing things for us, how does that change the way our own brains work? How does it change how we think and learn? It's a huge question about the future of knowledge itself.